Dzień dobry, witamy bardzo serdecznie na konferencji prasowej Państwowej Komisji Wyborczej.
Good afternoon, welcome to the conference of the National Electoral Commission. I would like to welcome the members of the Commission and all the journalists, and please take the seats.
Szanowni Państwo, zaczynamy konferencję prasową.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning the conference of the National Electoral Commission. I would like to give the floor to the chairman of the commission, Mr. Jaworski. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to present to you the communication of the National Electoral Commission from the 1st of December 2004 about the results of elections of the president and mayors of the cities. Based on the Act of 2007, the Electoral Code, the National Electoral Commission announces, on the basis of the data contained in the reports of electoral commissions, the collective results of the elections of the heads of municipalities, powiats, mayors and presidents of cities. First of all, in the second round of the elections, 890 mayors and presidents of cities and heads of municipalities have been elected, including those places where only one candidate was registered. 16,690,000 people had the right to vote, including 737 people who are not citizens of Poland. The voting papers have been issued to more than 6 million of people having the right to vote. Fourthly, the valid ballot papers have been given by 6,419,000 persons, and the turnout was 39.71%. 6,392,000 of the votes were valid, which accounted for more than 98% of the valid votes. 79,545 invalid votes were cast, which accounted for 1.24% of the total number of votes. The votes which were not valid because the X mark was not put on accounted for 44.9% of the total number of the invalid votes. The votes invalid because two X signs were placed on the card accounted for 46.26% of the total number of invalid votes. 10 votes that were invalid for other reasons was 7,280, which accounted for 9% of the total number of the invalid votes. The results of the elections. In the re-election, 890 heads of villages, mayors and presidents of cities were elected. 849 of those in 466 municipalities which are not cities having the right of powiats. The remaining number were the cities with the right of powiat, with the status of a powiat. 890 heads of municipalities, presidents and mayors of cities were elected. 44 presidents of cities having the status of powiat cities. The head of a municipality was not elected in one municipality, Moskorzew in Włoszczowa Powiat. There was only candidate left on the list, which in the re-election did not receive more than 50% of the valid votes. And fourthly, in that municipality, the head of municipality, according to Article 482 of the Electoral Code, the head of the municipality will be elected by the municipality council. The report is signed by the chairman of the National Electoral Commission, Stefan Jaworski, deputy chairman Andrzej Kisielewicz and Wiesław Kosielewicz, members of the commission, Bogusław Dauter, Żelka, Janusz Niemcewicz, Włodzimierz Reńc, and Stanisław Zabłocki. And the document is stamped with the seal of the National Electoral Commission. I would also like to give you information about the elections to the voivodeship cities, the selected ones. Białystok, Tadeusz Truskolaski from the Komitet Wyborczy Tadeusza Truskolskiego, 66.6% of votes. Bydgoszcz, Rafał Piotr Brzózki from Platforma Obywatelska, 57.11%. Gdańsk, Paweł Bogdan Adamowicz from Platforma Obywatelska, 61.25%. Katowice, Marcin Tomasz Krupa from the Forum Samorządowe Electoral Committee, 71.73%. Krakow, Jacek Maria Majchrowski from the Electoral Committee of Jacek Majchrowski, 58.81%. Olsztyn, Piotr Władysław Grzymowicz from the Electoral Committee of Piotr Grzymowicz, 50.47%. Opole, Arkadiusz Wiśniewski from the Arkadiusz Wiśniewski Electoral Committee, 67.66% of the votes. Poznań, Jacek Jaśkowiak from the Platforma Obywatelska Electoral Committee, 59.09%. Szczecin, Piotr Tomasz Krzystek from the bezpartyjny Electoral Committee, 51.93%. Warsaw, Hanna Beata Gronkiewicz-Waltz from Platforma Obywatelska Electoral Committee, 58.64%. And Wrocław, Rafał Franciszek Dudkiewicz from the Electoral Committee of Rafał Dudkiewicz and Platforma, 54.2%. Dear electorate, by today's announcement of the collective communication on the results of the second round of the elections, in the elections to the position of the heads of municipalities, mayors and presidents of cities, the entire cycle in the local government elections of 2004 is closed, which started on the 16th of November, and the announcement of the elections results on the 22nd of November. During this process, the failure of the IT system has been discovered, which made the situation complicated and delayed the announcement of the results of the elections of the 16th of November. In the process of calculating the results, different failures have occurred at different stages of counting of the votes and preparing the reports, which placed the shadow on the operation of the National Electoral Commission as one of the highest authorities of the state of Poland. The National Electoral Commission wishes to ensure that that failure did not impact the reliability of the elections results and the compliance with the regulations specified in the Electoral Code. We are very sorry for this situation. In spite of everything, in our opinion, we have not deserved such a mass critique. The critique that actually was aimed at undermining the foundations of the state of Poland and the electoral system, which enjoys a lot of respect all over the world. This is an exceptional system because it's organized with high participation of judges as apolitical people who are protected by the status of the independence of judges. We were criticized by numerous MPs who have been in the parliament for a dozen or so years, who have created or co-created the electoral law as it is today. And today they try to blame the National Electoral Commission for the failures of the law. Let me remind you that the National Electoral Commission does not have any legislative powers and any decision-making powers in the legislative process. And frequent amendments of the law make it difficult to work out appropriate procedures and to develop appropriate habits of the electorate during the elections. Considering all these circumstances, in order to protect the authority of the National Electoral Commission and the dignity of judges and personal dignity of each of us, the members of the National Electoral Committees have resigned from the functions in the National Electoral Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, each announcement of the final elections results should also be accompanied by expressing thanks to all those people and institutions who have contributed to the organization and to running of the elections, or who have had their impact on the elections process or the Polish electoral system. First of all, I would like to thank the group of almost 300 people who are members of the constituency and district electoral commissions, which represented different political options. I would like to thank judges, the heads of such commissions. I would like to thank all those who have performed their obligations with due diligence during the elections. I would like to thank the employees of the National Electoral Office and also the offices located in different voivodeships. Their work is not always recognized by people. I would like to thank the mayors and presidents of cities, starosts of powiats, the heads of municipalities for the organization of places where people could go and vote, and for providing technical IT and logistics assistance. Thirdly, I would like to thank the national headquarters of the police and also police stations and police units for the organization of the electoral premises and for guarding the compliance with the electoral regulations. I would like to address special thanks to Kazimierz Wojciech Czaplicki, the head of the National Electoral Office and member of the Association of European Electoral Officers, the person who has made great contribution to the Polish electoral system. Now I'd like to give the floor to Wiesław Kozierewicz, a new member of the National Electoral Commission, the deputy chairman of the National Electoral Commission, a judge of the Supreme Court, and judge of the criminal chamber of the Supreme Court of Poland. Ladies and gentlemen, by the decision of the Polish Parliament of July 1999, the National Electoral Commission was established as a permanent highest authority in Poland responsible for organizing elections. A decision was also made concerning establishment of independent electoral administration, and therefore the government was deprived from the right of organization elections. The model of independent electoral administration adopted at that time consists in a participation of judges only in the National Electoral Commission. This is 9 judges, and also for judges to play the role of electoral commissioners. There are 59 such persons. Another body was also established, the National Electoral Office, and its the territorial offices. The characteristic features of the electoral system is independence. The members of the National Electoral Commission who are resigning today have contributed to the fact that foreign observers highly evaluate and appreciate the Polish electoral system. The voivodeship, powiat, municipal, city electoral commissions have for years been managed by the National Electoral Commission. Altogether, in the period between 1999 and 2014, as far as parliamentary elections, presidential elections, local government elections, there have been 20 such events in Poland in the said period. I'm not mentioning additional elections to the Senate, for example, or to the local governments, because actually we wouldn't be able to count all these in the period of 23 years. By the decision of the Polish Parliament of 1991, independent electoral administration was established. The Polish Parliament can also decide that it should be the government who would be responsible for the elections. We have such a model in Belgium, for example. In such a situation, elections would be organized by the Ministry of Justice. It is also possible to adopt the model of electoral administration where all the activities are undertaken by the government administration under supervision of special groups representing the political parties. Such a system is applied in Spain, for example. Well, when talking to the judges, I gather that they will not feel very sorry if the parliament decides that judges should not participate in the works on the Electoral Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions to the Electoral Commission? I would like to ask about what happened 2 weeks ago and a little bit later, what we witnessed or we would not witness because we didn't really see the system working. At what stage are the, well, say, arrangements or settlement of the accounts with the company who developed the IT system? Well, as I have said many times, after the elections are over, the agreement, the contract with the Nabino company is going to be subject to very detailed review. And I believe that this will lead to preparation of the report who is to blame for which faults. Grzegorz Dejak from Polish Press Agency. Going back to the detailed results of the elections, in how many cases in Poland the drawing procedure led to the decision where there were, I mean, both candidates received the same number of votes? Well, we don't have such data available because there were many. There might be many such cases at different levels of the local administration, so such information should be obtained from the municipal or voivodeship electoral commissions. Well, I would like to add another question to Judge Kozielewicz, who will be left here in the National Electoral Commission alone for now. The new National Electoral Commission, I mean the National Electoral Commission having the new members, will be responsible for organization of the elections in 2015. Do you already have some organizational idea? I mean, we're talking about the IT system, etc. I mean, there's not so much time left before the next elections. Well, you are right. We are bound by the schedule, but the problem is that apart from one member of the National Electoral Commission, there won't be any more people in the National Electoral Commission who could work. So if the judiciary in Poland decides to designate candidates to the National Electoral Commission, I don't know what is the status of the discussions with the potential candidates. I don't know whether there will be such candidates. But as soon as I get this information, and as soon as I get the information from the President that those people have been appointed to be members of the National Electoral Commission, I will immediately call a meeting of the Commission, as I've said during the conference organized at night, from Saturday to Saturday. We are going to elect the chairman and the deputy chairman of the National Electoral Commission. Of course, then I will resign from the function of the position of the deputy chairman of the commission, and the new National Electoral Commission will have to start to implement the natural schedules of the elections. For example, in Śląskie Województwo, we need to carry out supplementary elections, and then we'll have to get ready for the presidential elections. So the situation is very complex. Next question, FM radio station. Just to get more precise information about the contract with Nabino company. Does it provide for any possibility to impose contractual fines on on Nabino company? And what is the status of your resignations? Have they already been submitted? Will they be submitted? I mean, when will we have the vacancies available in the National Electoral Commission? And the last question to Judge Kozielewicz, saying that judges will not be unhappy, and at the same time you've emphasized that there may not be candidates to be willing to participate in the works of the National Electoral Commission. Well, the legislature cannot change the electoral law at the moment, so some people might see this as trying to provoke the boycott among the judges. Well, the resignations of the judges are going to be signed after today's conference, with the exception of the resignation of Mr. Chairman, Judge Jaworski. Mr. Jaworski has already signed his resignation, but the resignation was suspended until the announcement of the results today. And the resignations are going to be submitted to the Chancellery of the President, and then the relevant authorities will make the decisions. And I will be waiting for the results of the actions taken. So when the President will appoint new candidates. Well, it may happen that he will not find the candidates, and then we'll be in a deadlock situation. Now, the second issue, my last statement saying that the judges will not cry or will not feel very sorry. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Parliament will then have to solve this dilemma, whether we are going to maintain the existing system, which has been evaluated very positively during long years. I mean, the National Electoral Commission has always been highly respected. I mean, for the period of more than 20 years, there were no accusations of not being reliable. If today there is a majority in the parliament who doesn't like this kind of system, then of course the vote in the parliament may be organized. You can switch to the German model or the Dutch or the Danish model. And the judges will not cry, as I've said. Yes, but as you've emphasized, and I repeated that, the legislator cannot do that. Well, for the time being, it cannot. But you can call the judges to boycott this, let's say, hiring process to the... No, I didn't mean any boycott. God forbid. I've just presented all the available options to you. There is a model where the Minister of Justice can organize the process of elections. The process of election can be organized by the Minister of Justice by being supervised by an independent body. Well, so how are the additional elections, supplementary elections in Śląskie Województwo to the parliament, to the Senate, will be conducted? Well, if a specific situation occurs, we will be discussing the issue. For now, I'm assuming that the membership, that another senator from that voivodeship will be elected. There must be 5 members of the National Electoral Commission in order for the elections to take place. And of course, then the president can. And what about the contractual penalties or fines from Nabino company? Well, I had a chance to mention it to you. The contract with Nabino company includes conclusions regarding contractual penalties to be imposed on Nabino company, and depending on the results of the investigation conducted, they will be imposed. Mr. Chairman, you said that you are sorry because of what has happened, and at the same time you said that you don't understand this huge critique, especially from politicians. You've also mentioned kind of a legislative chaos around the electoral law. So who, in your opinion, is responsible for that situation? Well, the media have been able to find the person responsible during the elections to the local governments. Now let the media find the person who is guilty of the legislative chaos. I have a question concerning the polling papers who have been protected. How are they protected? How are they going to be protected in the future also? This problem has also been clarified many times. In accordance with the provisions of the Electoral Code, all the documents from the elections that were prepared by the district electoral commissions, including the ballot papers, after the electoral reports have been prepared and approved by the higher level commissions, are kept in custody by the mayors of the cities, the presidents of the cities, or heads of municipalities. And there are specific regulations specifying how such documents should be protected. They should be protected against destruction or unauthorized access, because these documents constitute evidence in the case if there are any electoral protests or if any investigation is conducted by the police. So these documents are kept in custody at municipal level. A question to Judge Kozielewicz, because a question was asked about those supplementary elections. Potentially, can the date of these elections be at risk? Yes, of course, there is such a possibility. Well, thank you very much for coming to this conference. I would like to thank the members of the National Electoral Commission for participating in this conference, and we are going to inform you about the next actions taken by the National Electoral Commission by email. Thank you very much.